This video is about OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Act and Administration. Part 1. Occupational Safety and Health Act, OSH Act. The Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970 is a U.S. labor law governing the federal law of occupational health and safety in the private sector and federal government in the United States. Its main goal is to ensure that employers provide employees with an environment free from recognized hazards, such as exposure to toxic chemicals, excessive noise levels, mechanical dangers, heat or cold stress, or unsanitary conditions. Did you know? The OSH Act created the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, and the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission. We have over 30 resourceful membership videos to enable success in the HR certification exams. PHR, SPHR, SHRM-CP, SHRM-SCP. Be sure to join the membership of this channel. Click on the Join button today. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA. The OSH Act created the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, an agency of the Department of Labor. OSHA was given the authority, both to set and enforce, workplace health and safety standards. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, ensures safe and healthful working conditions for workers, by setting and enforcing standards, and by providing training, outreach, education, and assistance. National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH. The OSH Act created the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. NIOSH is a research agency focused on the study of worker safety and health, and empowering employers and workers to create safe and healthy workplaces. It also conducts research, and makes recommendations, for the prevention of work-related injury and illness. NIOSH was established to help ensure safe and healthful working conditions by providing research, information, education, and training in the field of occupational safety and health. National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH. NIOSH provides national and world leadership to prevent work-related illness, injury, disability, and death, by gathering information, conducting scientific research, and translating the knowledge gained into products and services. Note that although NIOSH and OSHA were established by the OSH Act, the two agencies have distinct and separate responsibilities. Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission. The OSH Act created the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission as an independent federal agency that is not part of the Department of Labor or OSH administration. The Review Commission was created to decide contests of citations or penalties that OSHA issues to employers following inspections of American workplaces. The Review Commission functions as a two-tiered administrative court, with established procedures for 1. Conducting hearings, receiving evidence, and rendering decisions by its administrative law judges, ALJs, and 2. Discretionary review of ALJ decisions by a panel of commissioners.
Hey! Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Check out the SHRM-CP, SHRM-SCP, PHR, SPHR, online courses. Also, join our channel membership by clicking on the Join button beside the Subscribe button.
Who is not covered under the OSH Act? The self-employed. Immediate family members of farm employers. Workplace hazards regulated by another federal agency, for example, the Mine Safety and Health Administration, the Department of Energy, or the Coast Guard. Workers at state and local government agencies are not covered by OSHA, but have OSH Act protections if they work in states that have an OSHA-approved state plan. Employers must provide their workers with a workplace that does not have serious hazards, and must follow all OSHA safety and health standards. Employers must also prominently display the official OSHA Job Safety and Health. It's the law poster that describes rights and responsibilities under the OSH Act. Inform workers about chemical hazards through training, labels, alarms, color-coded systems, chemical information sheets and other methods. Provide safety training to workers in a language and vocabulary they can understand. Keep accurate records of work-related injuries and illnesses. Not retaliate against workers for using their rights under the law, including their right to report a work-related injury or illness. Employers must also perform tests in the workplace, such as air sampling, required by some OSHA standards. Provide required personal protective equipment at no cost to workers. Provide hearing exams or other medical tests required by OSHA standards. Post OSHA citations and injury and illness data where workers can see them. Notify OSHA within 8 hours of a workplace fatality, or within 24 hours of any work-related inpatient hospitalization, amputation or loss of an eye. Not retaliate against workers for using their rights under the law, including their right to report a work-related injury or illness. Note that employers must pay for most types of required personal protective equipment. We have over 30 resourceful membership videos to enable success in the HR certification exams. PHR, SPHR, SHRM-CP, SHRM-SCP. Be sure to join the membership of this channel. Click on the Join button today. Under OSHA law, workers are entitled to working conditions that do not pose a risk of serious harm. Workers have the right to receive information and training about hazards, methods to prevent harm, and the OSHA standards that apply to their workplace. The training must be done in a language and vocabulary workers can understand. Receive copies of records of work-related injuries and illnesses that occur in their workplace. Workers also have the right to file a complaint asking OSHA to inspect their workplace if they believe there is a serious hazard, or that their employer is not following OSHA's rules. Exercise their rights under the law without retaliation, including reporting an injury, or raising health and safety concerns with their employer or OSHA. If a worker has been retaliated against for using their rights, they must file a complaint with OSHA as soon as possible, but no later than 30 days. Workers have the right to receive copies of the results from tests and monitoring done to find and measure hazards in their workplace. Receive copies of their workplace medical records. Participate in an OSHA inspection and speak in private with the inspector. File a complaint if punished or retaliated against, for acting as a whistleblower under the 21 additional federal laws, for which OSHA has jurisdiction. OSHA standards. OSHA has construction, general industry, maritime and agriculture standards, which protect workers from a wide range of serious hazards. Examples of OSHA standards include requirements for employers to provide full protection, prevent trenching cave-ins, prevent exposure to some infectious diseases, ensure the safety of workers who enter confined spaces, prevent exposure to harmful chemicals, put guards on dangerous machines, provide respirators or other safety equipment, provide training for certain dangerous jobs, in a language and vocabulary workers can understand. OSHA General Duty Clause. Employers must also comply with the General Duty Clause of the OSH Act. This clause requires employers to keep their workplaces free of serious recognized hazards. The General Duty Clause is generally cited when no specific OSHA standard applies to the hazard. The following elements are necessary to prove a violation of the General Duty Clause, except the employer failed to keep the workplace free of a hazard to which employees were exposed. The hazard was cited as a willful violation. The hazard was causing or was likely to cause death or serious physical harm. There was a feasible and useful method to correct the hazard. The answer is B. The following elements are necessary to prove a violation of the General Duty Clause. The employer failed to keep the workplace free of a hazard, to which employees of that employer were exposed. The hazard was recognized. The hazard was causing or was likely to cause death or serious physical harm. There was a feasible and useful method to correct the hazard.
Hey! Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Check out the SHRM-CP, SHRM-SCP, PHR, SPHR online courses. Also, join our channel membership by clicking on the Join button beside the Subscribe button.
What is hierarchy of controls? The hierarchy of controls is an approach to environmental or workplace safety that structures protective measures into 5 stages, in order of most effective to least effective. Elimination is the most effective, while personal protective equipment is the least effective. Elimination is the best possible defense. When you eliminate a hazard, you eradicate it or remove it from the environment where it can affect people. Curing a disease, or finding a way for employees to do their work without leaving ground level, would be examples of elimination. Substitution is the second best defense. It means replacing the hazardous thing or way of operating with something else, something non-hazardous or less hazardous. Maybe you replace a piece of cutting equipment with one that has fewer exposed sharp edges, for instance, or switch from a hazardous cleaning chemical to one that doesn't produce toxic fumes. Engineering controls are the next line of defense. When you engineer a solution to a hazard, you physically separate people from the hazard. Examples of engineering controls include guardrails, partitions, sound dampening materials, automated machines, and so forth. Administrative controls aren't as effective as engineering controls, but can still keep people safe. The idea here is to change the way people work, for instance, through rules and policies. For example, employees must wash their hands every 90 minutes, or signage, do not enter. Personal protective equipment, PPE, is the last line of defense. If you can't get rid of the problem, swap it for something else, or engineer or govern it away. The only option left is to provide people with equipment such as helmets, goggles, gloves, boots, respirators, and hazmat suits. What is an example of the elimination step, from the hierarchy of control? Removing a working at height risk, by conducting the work at ground level. Redesigning a machine by adding safeguards. Providing earplugs to employees, to prevent hearing damage. Install signage that warn of safety risks. The answer is A. Elimination involves removing the cause of the danger completely. An example of elimination is removing a working at height risk by conducting the work at ground level, or eliminating hazardous machinery that can cause harm to users. Note that elimination is the most effective way to control a risk, because the hazard is no longer present, and it is the preferred way to control a hazard. Option B is engineering. Option C is PPE. Option is administrative controls. OSHA inspections. Enforcement plays an important part in OSHA's efforts to reduce workplace injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. When OSHA finds employers who fail to uphold their safety and health responsibilities, the agency takes strong, decisive actions. Inspections are initiated without advance notice, conducted using on-site, or telephone, and facsimile investigations, performed by highly trained compliance officers. Employers have the right to require compliance officers to obtain an inspection warrant before entering the worksite. OSHA inspections are scheduled based on the following priorities. 1. Imminent danger hazards that could cause death or serious physical harm receive top priority. Compliance officers will ask employers to correct these hazards immediately or remove endangered employees. 2. Severe injuries and illnesses. Employers must report all work-related fatalities within 8 hours, all work-related inpatient hospitalizations, amputations, or losses of an eye within 24 hours. 3. Worker complaints, allegations of hazards or violations also receive a high priority. Employees may request anonymity when they file complaints. 4. Referrals of hazards from other federal, state or local agencies, individuals, organizations or the media, receive consideration for inspection. 5. Targeted inspections, inspections aimed at specific high-hazard industries or individual workplaces that have experienced high rates of injuries and illnesses also receive priority. 6. Follow-up inspections, checks for abatement of violations cited during previous inspections, are also conducted by the agency in certain circumstances. We have over 30 resourceful membership videos to enable success in the HR certification exams. PHR, SPHR, SHRM-CP, SHRM-SCP. Be sure to join the membership of this channel. Click on the Join button today. Current workers or their representatives may file a written complaint and ask OSHA to inspect their workplace if they believe there is a serious hazard or that their employer is not following OSHA standards. Workers and their representatives have the right to ask for an inspection without OSHA telling their employer who filed the complaint. It is a violation of the OSH Act for an employer to fire, demote, transfer, or in any way retaliate against a worker for filing a complaint or using other OSHA rights. Preparation. Before conducting an inspection, OSHA compliance officers research the inspection history of a worksite, using various data sources, review the operations and processes in use, and the standards most likely to apply. Presentation of credentials. The on-site inspection begins with the presentation of the compliance officer's credentials. Opening conference. The compliance officer will explain why OSHA selected the workplace for inspection, and describe the scope of the inspection, walk-around procedures, employee representation, and interviews. The employer then selects a representative to accompany the compliance officer during the inspection. Walk-around. Following the opening conference, the compliance officer and the representatives will walk through the portions of the workplace covered by the inspection, inspecting for hazards that could lead to employee injury or illness. The officer will also review worksite injury and illness records, and the posting of the official OSHA poster. Compliance officers will keep confidential any trade secrets observed. Closing conference. After the walk-around, the compliance officer holds a closing conference with the employer and the employee representatives to discuss the findings. The compliance officer discusses possible courses of action an employer may take following an inspection, which could include an informal conference with OSHA, or contesting citations, and proposed penalties. The compliance officer also discusses consultation services and employee rights. OSHA inspection results. When an inspector finds violations of OSHA standards or serious hazards, OSHA may issue citations and fines. OSHA must issue a citation and proposed penalty within 6 months of the violation's occurrence. Citations describe OSHA requirements allegedly violated, list any proposed penalties, and give a deadline for correcting the alleged hazards. Violations are categorized as willful, serious, other than serious, de minimis, failure to abate, and repeated. OSHA penalties. Serious, other than serious, posting requirement violations, attract a penalty of $13,653 per violation. Failure to abate violations, attract a penalty of $13,653 per day, beyond the abatement date. Willful or repeated violations, attract a penalty $136,532 per violation.
Hey! Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Check out the SHRM-CP, SHRM-SCP, PHR, SPHR online courses. Also, join our channel membership by clicking on the Join button beside the subscribe button.
In settling a penalty, OSHA has a policy of reducing penalties for small employers and those acting in good faith. For serious violations, OSHA may also reduce the proposed penalty, based on the gravity of the alleged violation. No good faith adjustment will be made for alleged willful violations. When an inspector finds violations of OSHA standards or serious hazards, OSHA may issue citations and fines. A citation includes methods an employer may use to fix a problem, and the date by which the corrective actions must be completed. Employers have the right to contest any part of the citation, including whether a violation actually exists. Workers only have the right to challenge the deadline by which a problem must be resolved. Appeals of citations are heard by the Independent Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission. We have over 30 resourceful membership videos to enable success in the HR certification exams. PHR, SPHR, SHRM-CP, SHRM-SCP. Be sure to join the membership of this channel. Click on the Join button today. Appeals. When OSHA issues a citation to an employer, it also offers the employer an opportunity for an informal conference with the OSHA area director to discuss citations, penalties, abatement dates, or any other information pertinent to the inspection. The agency and the employer may work out a settlement agreement to resolve the matter and to eliminate the hazard. OSHA's primary goal is correcting hazards and maintaining compliance, rather than issuing citations or collecting penalties. Employers have 15 working days after receipt of citations and proposed penalties to formally contest the alleged violations and/or penalties by sending a written notice to the area director. OSHA forwards the contest to the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission for independent review. Alternatively, citations, penalties, and abatement dates that are not challenged by the employer or settled become a final order of the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission.
And with that we come to the end of today's lesson. Check out the description box below for additional resources towards earning the PHR, SPHR, SHRM-CP, and SHRM-SCP. Facebook Practice Group. Class Marker PHR, SPHR, Practice Exams. Books on Amazon. Teachable PHR, SPHR online course. Remember to subscribe and like this video.